Hello, this is Arcus and Tenebris with our next session. When we last when we last had our gang of mages, they may have done a bit of a social faux pas. Arthur decided to light up a shadow-focused Fey, a powerful Fey Lord-ish, which they did not take very well. And it decided to leave for now. But that's probably going to be a thing later on. And also their trail seems to be going back and forth the more along the trail they go. Why they do not does not seem to make sense, but in a weird way it might just be Arcadia doing Arcadia things. But time will tell. So our group reset up another watch, and the rest of them went to bed, and the rest of the night passes without any particular interruption. Ow. So you guys wake up, you make yourselves breakfast. You wake up you're still in the wild and wacky Alice in Wonderland world. I assume you guys are, prepare and then head out toward your trail signal.
Well, before that, Arthur wanted to try and look around to see if there was any like hair from the cat that was left.
Okay. What?
There's a hair from the cat that bit him. The
Well,
dog.
Let me check real quick. That would be a survival roll, I think. Perception survival.
Prime. Oh, okay then.
Well, magically, with Prime. How?
I mean, he doesn't know exactly what it.
I'm just.
Go ahead.
I'm just not sure how that would work. What are you trying to do with Prime to find traces?
Well, he's just trying to see if there's any like if the hair just has a different Prime signal. I'm assuming everybody has gives off a little bit of a different just to see a different like hair on the ground that highlights. That's the way he's looking at it.
What? Okay. I'm not saying that wouldn't be possible under other circumstances, but you are in a completely alien environment and you don't know what belongs there and what doesn't belong there, what is normal and what isn't normal. So it would sort of be just like seeing at least using Prime, it would be like seeing information that you don't know what you can connect to. At least I think, at least the way that you're kind of explaining it. I'm not sure, because with trying to use Prime to find something, it's like it's in a sort of a sense, it's sort of like reducing everything to think of it like Minecraft when I was gonna say, think of it as in Minecraft when you reduce everything to code. You just kind of see like layers of code. And unless you know what you're looking for specifically, it's just, oh, there's more code on top of that code.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
And I mean, like, it's. I mean, you haven't run into the, Grey Malkin before, and you haven't, you don't know this place, so.
Seen him in Prime before.
What?
I haven't seen him in Prime before either.
Yeah, it's like
no
you weren't paying attention to him in that way. Well, him, air quotes. It's a sexless menace. But it you don't you've got nothing to to compare it to, and I'm sorry if it kind of seems like I'm always shooting you down when you're trying to search this way. It's just when you're dealing with when you're dealing with the prime pattern, it is dealing with when you're trying to like find something or follow something or all that, you need to be able to recognize the pattern, and if you haven't seen the pattern, you can't recognize it. Am I making sense?
And plus, now that I think of it, he never looked at the world through Prime, so he wouldn't even be able to say, well, this is the default, this is So that's I get it. Long shot, but can I still try the perception even though I don't have survival?
Oh yeah, okay.
Worth a shot.
It just defaults to the to perception. Let me get to the roll chat. Roll channel.
It wouldn't be investigation though.
Investigation is more connecting evidence. And
Oh. Okay.
I mean, this isn't really a crime scene or anything like that. This is just you're trying to find something that may be there. So, I mean, I can see your argument. I don't see how it applies.
Oh, that makes sense. See if I remember how to do this. I got... no, wait, that doesn't seem right.
/roll, I think.
Oh.
Okay. Are you using what? It doesn't work either way, but I was like, was that second one a using your willpower?
Oh, I have willpower. Can I use a willpower?
Sure.
I don't think we've ever used willpower in this game. So.
Yeah, willpower just lets you reroll. It's sort of like when you bear down through a situation.
Okay.
All right.
Not beeping at me now, so let's try to beat it into submission.
All right, so willpower is a reroll?
Yeah.
Or is this a...
Remember, it's just slash.
Roll space 4d10. Right?
I don't think there's a space. Okay, I guess I'm. Okay.
Wait.
Why is it a 4?
No, it's supposed to be 2d10.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Which is a shame.
I don't know why I said 4d10.
Which is a shame because you did. Okay, just give it. Do the roll.
Why am I so bad?
It's okay. It's early in the morning for most of us. Nobody's awake. Well, early. but still.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that is
Damn it, Coke Zero, you failed me.
Okay. Unfortunately, you can't find anything. But you rolled really well, but since there was no fighting and there was no scuffle, it didn't like there was nothing to like separate it from it, and the roll I just did was a high-low, whether it left something behind naturally. So unfortunately, there's nothing that you can find, even though you are very confident that you would have been able to.
Alrighty.
I mean, if you guys did actually come to blows, that would have been one thing. But it's just like its natural state.
Well,
yeah.
Well, it did run into the tent. That's kind of what I thought was gonna. Okay.
Okay, that is a good point.
Does it?
All right, I'm gonna give it to you because you did make a good argument. I'm gonna say that
yay.
there are some tufts, but not a lot. But I'm gonna say that there is something. Whether it's actually going to be of use to you.
So the first.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he just the main thing he wants to try right now is just to see if he can get its distance from him. That's like, is it like waiting in the woods, or is it like that's the main thing he's curious to see how close it is.
All right, I guess you could. Yeah, you can do that. Give me a correspondence roll.
Correspondence.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. No.
Oh,
I was looking at that one, and I went, "Oh no, you got a success and an exploding die." So yeah, that doesn't take anything away. You can tell that it is miles away and miles away behind you. It's away from the direction that you're going.
Okay.
Yeah, it is far away for now.
All right, so he's just gonna put the hair in like a little baggie because he carries like little evidence baggies because you never know.
Fair enough.
He's gonna put that in his pocket. There you go.
All right, and I assume you re-up the tracking spell to find the little girl.
Well, I was wondering because my human brain can't figure this out, but Arthur's smarter than me. Can I make an enigma roll to see if I can figure out what's going on with that?
Why it's going back and forth? You mean?
Yeah, why it keeps changing the direction?
I don't think you would.
I don't know if that would be enigma.
Well, no, I could see your argument for it. It's just I don't, knowing the reason behind it, I'm not sure that's something that you could put together.
Okay, yeah, like he doesn't have the pieces, so even
Yeah.
if he's good at it, it's still missing. Okay, that's fair.
So, if now I'm gonna need another correspondence roll for you to pick the trail back up because it doesn't. You set up an effect for something else, so you kind of like gotta restart up your tracking spell for, well, not spell effect, because Mage doesn't have spells.
They have rote. Is that rote? Oh,
Okay, yeah. You got a strong signal and you're heading out there. So you guys continue walking, and even though this is a nightmare of Alice in Wonderland on crack, you don't really run into anything for a few hours. I mean, you see wildlife, and you see what might be artificial structures in the distance, but other than that, you don't really see a whole heck of a lot. But you continue moving forward, and you ultimately end up at the base of a mountain, and once again it's been like swinging back and forth, but the arc of this back and forth swing seems to have gotten smaller. But you kind of get to the base of a mountain, and you're gonna have to like go around it, or you could go over it if you want. But that would be, yeah. So
it's a mountain.
Yeah. The brush around it has gotten the color palette of the surrounding environment as you approach this mountain seems to get darker. Everything up till now has been like crazy vibrant, fueled by a child's imagination, bright and crazy colors. But as you approach, it seems that the color palette has muted and become darker around you. I assume you want to go around the mountain, everyone, as opposed to over it.
What do you guys think?
How much extra time is it going to take us?
Well, going over the mountain would, in theory, take more time, but it's definitely. You would think that it would definitely be. You'd be able to get around it in a day, as opposed to going over it. That might take a few days.
Well, the thing is, and Arthur speaks this, he's like, if what I'm worried about is if we move a different direction and we try to go around, is it because this thing is finally starting to narrow, the correspondence tracking. So I don't know if by changing course we're gonna like mess up the degrees of success and failure I'm getting on this thing.
That's not success or failure.
From my
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
From what we've seen from this place so far, I think following it straight is probably the better choice, even if it's slower.
Okay.
Unless you have a compelling argument to avoid the mountain.
What's everyone else's opinion? Tony is
So yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards the mountain just because I don't want to like mess up with our path. What do you think, Titania?
Does the mountain look like we'd have to actually do some serious climbing, or is it just?
It looks like it's more like upward trudging as opposed to like, rock climbing.
So I'd side with going straight towards the signal still.
Okay. And Tony is just happy to do whatever the group thinks.
Is that what you guys want to do? You guys want to go over, or are you split between over and around?
I'm for over.
Okay, it sounds like everybody's going over. So as you
Snowing.
No, it's not snowy. It doesn't get that high. We're not talking about Arcadia, Everest or anything like that. But as you What was that?
The comment was more about I am more worried about inhabitants of the mountain than rather climbing over the mountain.
Well, that can happen anywhere. So, as you guys go up the mountain, it is not like it's a difficult climb. It's more of a unpleasant gradient. And as you go further and further up, it starts getting rockier and less. It starts getting rockier and less forested and with less foliage, but there's still enough to be noticeable. So if your fears of being waylaid are lessened because visibility is better than it had been before. And as you continue to go up this mountain, you get to like about I'm going to say that you get to like about around half the height. You make a lot more progress than you had expected, but by the time that you are ready to stop for the day, you're like about halfway there. By the time that you stop, it's not really a flat spot so much as the downward grade is more leveled out, so you don't have to worry about rolling down the mountain in your sleep or anything like that. But because of that, there isn't really much to start a fire with. So you may just have to like to camp without one, unless you want to like make a unless someone wants to make a survival roll. It is survival, yeah, it's survival.
Do we need a fire, guys?
How cold is it?
The evening.
If you want, I can. I could make a thick coat with my matter, I presume.
You could do that if you wanted.
Don't think
as far as temperature is concerned, at the base of the mountain, it was a matter of you were comfortable in your sleeping bags, but as for up here, there may be a larger temperature change, but you wouldn't suspect by a lot. So I guess it depends on, you know. I don't think you guys are afraid of freezing to death. So fire is still fire is, you know, up to you whether you want one or not.
Well, if it starts getting cold, we can always make one, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
Where's the thing? Well, so.
Oh wait, Arthur suddenly has an.
Yes.
When when that cat thing was with them, it did not like the light. So now Arthur's starting to think, well, what if the fire keeps some more of those things like we had to deal with yesterday away? Like it didn't come into the fire, the light, and it didn't seem to like my flashlight either.
Hmm. So, are you? I guess what I'm saying is, are you concerned about that particular? That are you worried about the Grey Malkin in particular, or are you, you know?
No, just more things that don't like light. He's assuming that one thing didn't like light and it was aggressive, so there might be more things that don't like light and they just stay away because of the fire.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like the Malk was the rule, not the exception.
Okay.
What does Flug think?
Okay, 1 second. If we're gonna do that, I may have to bring Tony's character sheet up. All right. So, well, if you're kind of worried about that, then I would think that I mean, it is not. If you were in the mortal realm, you would definitely have to worry about this. But considering that consensus here really isn't that big of a deal, you could, you know, create firewood. I mean, that's doable. Or, you know, you could, you know, create a fire pit that will remain lit for, you know, 12 hours as an effect. I mean, you guys are at that kind of that level that you could, you know, do that if you wanted.
Arthur kind of wants to try out something. He's not sure if it'll work. But he wants to turn on the flashlight and see if he can just get the light to go in a continuous circle around their camp.
That definitely seems like that would be, yeah.
Or is that like a higher level?
What level? What? How many dots do you have in forces? Because I don't think my copy of your sheets are up to date. So 2.
I still have 2. But I know 2 is manipulation of existing, so that's why I wasn't sure if it would.
Well, and your prime is at 2 also, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, you take your you take your flashlight. You you go in a circle. Your flashlight is already exist. The light that your flashlight is making is already existing. If you use both prime and forces to try and to keep those photons in the general area as you're making a circle, I could see that being possible, but I'm going to have to be a hard ass here and say it will cost you a quintessence.
Yes, I was going to spend a quintessence on that.
Okay, yeah, then I can see that. So how big of a circle are you thinking of making?
Let me just just around the camp. Like just along the borders of the camp.
Okay, so like about a 50-foot circle?
Yeah.
Okay. So if what we're suggesting here is how I'm envisioning it is you take your flashlight, you go in a circle, and the length of the beam of the flashlight, which I'll say goes like about 25, 30 feet, as you are going in a circle, basically does like a 80s tastic cyberpunk light trail in the circle that you are going for.
Yes.
But it extends outward that 25, yes. 30 feet. Okay, so you're like in the middle of a weird halo, like the ground is an angel type. I guess.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that did you? So I'm gonna need a roll for that. Oh, did you just do the roll?
Oh no, I didn't do the roll.
Yeah, you got.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a roll.
Well, either way,
it should
either
be
way,
doable.
it was 40-10. I don't know why I was waiting for you to tell me which one. Yeah.
Makes me think of those bear circles that they must make a perfect circle to keep the bear away.
I did a terrible roll.
Okay, that is a paradox-worthy roll. Okay, let me see. With what you're trying to accomplish, how can I make this fuck up? Well...
Oh, that's right. I forget paradox exists.
So... I guess you're kind of lucky because with paradox still exists, but the consensus is lower here, but paradox is paradox. So right. I'm going to say that it looks like it's going to start working. It makes the circle all that way out, and when you link up the other end to the end of the other end together, it starts to get brighter and brighter and brighter, and until it's like instead of going out like only about 25, 35 feet, it becomes like a lighthouse beam. Basically the beam of the flashlight, and it's 25 feet out, get multiplied to the point of a lighthouse. So you could stay there, I guess. but there is no way in hell that no one would know that you're there for miles. You are a shining beacon of you are a shining beacon of all that, to the point I could even see the argument that you wouldn't be able to sleep because it's so bright.
Are we blinded?
Well,
Like,
I'm going
or
to
is
say
it just like outwards?
I'm going to say that you're not blinded, but I'd say it's closer to being snow blinded. You're not blinded; you can still see things around you, but even with your eyes closed, you are getting, light is coming in through your closed eyeballs. It's like closing your eyes and looking at a ceiling light. No matter what you do, so the odds of you being able to sleep through that are not great. So, how are you guys going to respond or deal with this?
Guys, I got good news and I got bad news. I got the light working.
Yes, I noticed that's
Yeah. Ouch.
And I don't think we should stop for this night.
I mean,
no.
I mean, in theory, you could try to, do a forces roll to bring the light back down, but you just sent out a giant "Here I am" light.
Well, this place is burned as far as my character would consider it.
Okay.
It might not be the brightest tool in the shed. End it.
Okay.
But
so you guys, what are we suggesting here?
Now, does the light follow us if we decide to move, or is it going to stay here if we move?
It is where he set it. So if you guys want to like walk away, it will be there for the 12 hours. It won't follow you or anything like that. Because that's what he set it for, is to be a halo of light for 12 hours.
You need to practice that skill, buddy.
I mean, it worked.
So,
a certain definition.
So, I'm going to suggest that you guys continue walking for about an hour.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it is already dark by the time that you decide it is far enough away to be safe. Now, it's not dark enough that you can't see where you're going. It's not pitch black, but, it is. You need flashlights to maneuver. So you could still, you can still, it would still be possible.
Try that skill again, but this time without.
There's that, and, maybe you guys want to, like, set up a tent and all huddle in one. Or, or
That's
some.
Fine.
Yeah, he'll.
I mean, the light is a hell.
I guess he'll give it another shot.
Oh God! Okay, all right. If you want to do it, I won't stop you. I mean,
another quintessence, right?
Yes, if you want. Okay, stop. Okay, I'm gonna stop you here, and give you options. You have a massive "I'm here" light, an hour away, right? So, doing even a small light around you. Once they go to the big light and go like, well, this is weird. What the hell's going on? And they see your light. It would be less of a deterrent than if you hadn't had the giant find me light,
Yes. Okay.
I mean,
Let's
if you
just
want,
put up a tent and huddle up.
okay.
That works.
So I'm gonna
I'm in
say,
favor of huddling up.
okay. So I'm gonna say because the type of tents that you would usually deal with to be a personal tent are actually, instead of being a one-person tent, are generally for one person who wants enough room and all that. You would be a two-person tent. So you guys would be huddling all together in a two-person tent. You guys are all squished together. You are like sardines in a can. But you guys can still sleep. You're not going to be happy in the morning, but at least it's sleep.
Before
Oh god.
Arthur gets in, can you just check? I'm not gonna do anything. He just wants to check with the hair to see if the Malk is anywhere near, because they did send a big flare, so he just wants to make sure that they didn't draw its attention.
Okay, well I'm gonna need a roll for that, which would be
all right,
your correspondence. Your correspondence and irritate.
Oh, thank God, no one.
So that is a success.
Oh wait, before how do I mark paradox on my character sheet?
Okay,
I forgot to ask you that. Sorry.
So you notice the dot on your sheet. Above the dot is your quintessence, but below it is your paradox.
Okay, so you just mark below the dot?
Yeah. Now the paradox,
Okay.
especially at smaller levels, it will wear off, but trying to do more magic, the risk of dangerous paradox goes up the more paradox you have. So, in theory, working with one paradox isn't all that dangerous, but if you start accruing paradox, it gets more and more dangerous. So if you can do this roll,
right,
go ahead and give me this roll.
Oh, I did.
Oh, okay.
But I did the roll, and then I asked you about the paradox.
Okay, yeah, you're right. So you can tell that it is as it is far as it could. You could guess that it is around the same place that it was before. It hasn't followed you guys, and it doesn't seem to be moving in the find me light direction. All right. Now paradox does wear off. I think it's like it wears off like. Oh, that's a good question. Do you have your familiar with you?
No, he stayed behind.
Okay.
Yeah, they can eat it, but he stayed behind.
All right. So as is, I believe it takes about a day for paradox to wear off. Per dot or level of paradox. So you should be careful for the next day. Right. And if that's everything that everybody wants to do, everybody goes to bed in sardines in their can, all hyper snug, and everybody goes to bed. The rest of the night passes with no real interruption whatsoever. You get up in the morning. You're not really fully rested. but you've gotten enough that you can deal with the rest of the day. You would not want to do this for another day or two or anything like that. You just want to so hopefully next camping spot is going to be a place where you can each be in your own tent. Hopefully.
At a find me light.
Well, it would still be there. You could see as you get out in the morning and all that, you could still see it. It'll be there for another hour or two. So it's there. But as you guys get out of the tent, you can take stock of the where you camped around you, and what you didn't see in the darkness as you were camping is there are a bunch of mushrooms around you. Now, it's not like a circle or anything like that, but and they're not vividly bright like the rest of Arcadia normally is. It's just waking up to a bunch of these mushrooms around you is concerning because there are no trees or anything for them to hide under, so they're exposed to normal amounts of daylight, which is not something that mushrooms usually like. So this is a little weird, but at the moment you don't really see you really don't see it being a bigger problem. But it's like, okay, well, that's weird. Unless somebody wants to do anything with the mushrooms.
How big are the
Is that
mushrooms?
ever a good idea?
I'm going to say the mushrooms are like if you put both of your fists together, like that's how wide the caps are, and that they stand like about 5 to 6.5 inches off the ground. So
Like portobellos, but colorful.
Well, no, they're not colorful. So they're clearly not portobellos, but they're like, they're drab woodland colors. But they're drab woodland colors on craggy lands. So that's why it's like well, this is weird type situation. If someone has if someone has enough in survival, you could make a roll and see if you recognize them.
I think I have a dot or two in survival.
Okay, so survival, perception, or intelligence?
Yeah, but you're gonna have to roll for me.
Okay, let me find your sheet real quick. So perception. Do. Oh, I didn't. Smash.
It's okay. I messed up so many times.
Okay.
Ooh.
That ain't bad. So, from what you can tell, you are pretty certain that you haven't seen. You don't really know what this is, but they do seem to be related to a mushroom that that has hallucinogenic properties, but they have to be the level of hallucinogenic is really low, so they have to take a lot of it normally to have any effects. But this is not that mushroom. It's just it seems that it was very similar to it. So if you wanted to gather them up for experimentation, that's a good idea. What you can do, because you are a life mage, is you could now that you know that they are similar to that type of mushroom, if you do a life sphere roll, you might be able to get more information from it.
Okay.
All right, 1 second. And you're at. So I think you have 2 dots in life. I think I've got an older copy of your. No, you went with mind. So yeah, you got 1 dot in life, and life in there. Okay. So you're able to look at these mushrooms through your life vision, basically, and you understand that yes, these are pretty much the same, except the they are touched with the Fey realm. So if someone were to imbibe these mushrooms, they would they would have very specific type of like trip where they
Okay.
where they would their trip would heavily revolve around mushrooms and interacting with mushrooms, and a bad trip would become infinitely horrific with being devoured by mushrooms. And because you are a life mage, if you could alter these to go more in one direction versus another. So if you were, in theory, if you gathered a bunch of these up, you could turn them into like a biological, not viral, but biological warfare type of thing. If you want it. But as is, they're neutral to you and your circumstance right now. But if you wanted to gather some up, you could do something like that later if you wanted.
Arthur's gonna have his staff out and he's gonna be like poking them. These things aren't like sentient, are they? They're not like, they don't have like thoughts to them.
No.
He's gonna ask Titania that because he knows she has mind. Oh, okay.
So it is weird to have had these things be here and not notice them, and then when you find out about them, go like, okay, that's really freaking creepy. But as of right now, they're just plants. You can if you want to move along, it'd be they would stay where they are. You see no evidence of them being, plant monsters or anything like that. So if you guys just want to leave them behind to move ahead, you can do that. No harm, no foul.
Well, Arthur. I mean, he's gonna take a few cut one up. Well, he's gonna put gloves on, but he's gonna cut them up and put them in an evidence bag too, just in case.
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys. I had a unit call me.
Okay.
But yeah, I want to harvest them.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So I'd say you get like about a couple gallon Ziploc bags full, and you get them packed away, and you guys move forward. The further that you go, the grade starts to get a bit tougher. It's still doable. It's not hard. It's just it starts to get harder. It's still pretty craggy as you keep on going, and there are other plants, but like they seem. If you didn't know better, you would think that you are in the normal world, going up a normal mountain in a very normal situation, which is weird, but it doesn't seem to be a weird that is important. By the time that it gets to be about camping time, you could see that it'll take that tomorrow morning, by another in an hour or two, you'll make it over the top of the mountain and be able to work your way down and make much better time. So, how do you guys want to camp this time?
Arthur has an idea. Unless anybody wants to go first. Anybody want to go?
Anybody want to make a decision other than me?
Yeah.
I would probably have proposed to do a normal camp, but with limited.
With a normal fire.
Yeah. Normal fire.
Okay.
Unless you have unless you have a proposition.
Well,
right, Arthur's gonna be like. Sorry, go ahead, Tatiana.
No. You go first.
No, I was gonna look at him and say, "How about I handle the light this time?"
He's
Okay.
gonna nod and give a thumbs up.
Okay. How are you accomplishing that?
I have a dot in survival.
Okay. So you want to just start a fire, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Tony goes up to Fluke and says, "How about you and I start turning some of these rocks into wood to burn tonight?" Because they're both matter sphere focused.
Yeah, go ahead. Tony and who?
Tony and Fluke.
Wouldn't it be easier to turn them into coal?
Once the fire started, I think coal would be a good idea, but we got to get, coal requires warm hot embers to really get started unless we got something that we could turn into, charcoal starter.
You didn't bring fat wood with you?
We'll just make it into it then.
Okay.
He goes over and start making a pile of pebbles.
Okay. So I'm going to say between the two of you, okay, I'll have Tony make a roll, you make a roll, and we'll see where we get. So...
Okay.
Okay. I'd on your roll alone, I think we got like more than enough. So much so that I think that you've got enough to pack up to take with you if you'd like.
That would be appreciated, yes.
All right, cool. So you start a normal fire. You guys are all camped and do things in a normal camping way. Does anyone want to stay up and do watch?
Arthur's gonna just check to see if there's any like movement around with correspondence, but then he's like too exhausted to even think about it.
So you were like, what would be a good idea? I could do this. Fuck it, I'm too tired.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, basically.
Okay. So I'm gonna say that your paradox would have worn off. So go ahead and unclick it.
Oh, all right. Unclicked. Alrighty, so just a regular.
Yeah. You are down 1 quintessence, but that's not,
Yeah.
So everybody goes to bed.
Oh,
Everything the night passes without incident, except for in the middle of the night there is the wind kicks up pretty hard. But it seems to have just been a normal wind. So you may not have slept. I guess it sort of depends on if you're the type of person that could sleep in a tent when it's windy outside. But I think that'll be like a flavor text for everyone if that's the decision they want to make. But other than that, everything was normal. You get up, you have breakfast, and you pack out, and you head up the mountain. As you guys expected, it takes like about an hour before you get over the top of the mountain, and as soon as you crest the mountain, as soon as you crest the mountain, you see why. You see why the trail has been so weird. Going up into the sky to a vanishing point you cannot see the top of is a pendulum, like a grandfather clock pendulum. And paying attention to the paying attention to the tracking effect, you realize that it is coming from the pendulum. The big circular part of the pendulum.
Oh.
Arcadia be weird, yo.
So she's on a very extended carnival ride.
I guess.
That's one way to phrase it, I suppose.
Now, as you are looking, and you continue your you assess the situation. You do notice that as it does come down to its lowest point. From where you can see, you can see that it would theoretically be possible to go from the ground or near the ground to the pendulum. It isn't like it's hanging like that high off of it. So mundanely, if that is even a thing that could be described about here, it would theoretically be possible to get onto it, but it'll take. Now, granted, you guys are going downhill, but it'll still take like maybe a day or two to get down the mountain, and then maybe another day to get to the pendulum area. So that's what you guys kind of like put two and two together about. Unless anyone wants to do something weird, I'm going to say you decide to go down the other side of the mountain.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So you start going down the other side of the mountain, and it is pretty similar to the side that you went up on. However, it does appear that the grade is a bit steeper. So although you are making up more time, you have to be more careful. To keep yourselves from sliding down in an uncontrollable way. Now we're not talking about like do a roll, level of difficulty, but you're not making the time that you thought you would or that you want to make. But you're still winding your way down the mountain, and you find yourself, by the time that you are getting ready to camp for the night, you find that that the best place for you to camp is in a box canyon, and you were able to switch back down into the box canyon, and it'll take like about 20 minutes to a half hour to get out of the box canyon and continue downward. But from what your best guess is, it's the safest place is to just camp there. So, how do you guys want to camp?
Standard camp?
Say like the night before, because nothing seems to have happened.
Okay, you don't want a...
And we still have extra wood, right?
Yeah, you still got extra wood.
Yeah, you brought some with you.
Yeah. Because that was a kick-ass roll. I'm gonna say that it was a mix of wood and coal. So you will be good for you will be good for tonight. The next day you'll have to like look for wood or do it again, but that's the options that you have at the moment. You don't want do you guys want to set up a watch? Do you guys want to like have any other preventative measures or what?
I
guess we could do a watch this time.
Okay.
We're a bit more rested than the day before.
So who wants to do the first watch?
Maybe 3 or 4.
I don't mind going first.
Tony will volunteer. So we're gonna need like a third person for the last watch.
I think I can do the last watch.
Okay.
He says, in first person though.
So, first watch, nothing happens. Second watch, nothing happens. Third watch, I'm going to say Arthur. It seems like everything's happening to Arthur, and I'm not intending to, but it looks like it's working that way. It is getting to be near the end of your watch. You're gonna be waking everyone up in about maybe a half hour to an hour, and it isn't. You're not quite seeing the false dawn or anything like that. So you can tell that it's getting toward morning, but you're not there yet. So you're sitting there, kind of twiddling your thumbs, or like doing something to keep your mind occupied. And you see a squirrel come up and investigate your fire, or what is left of your fire. And you note this, and you're like, okay, whatever. And you go back to like fiddle in with your thumbs or playing on your phone or whatever. And you hear a very quiet voice say, ask you, "Sir, can I get you to stoke the fire for me real quick?" You look around, and you put two and two together, and you realize that it is the squirrel talking to you.
That's how it works.
Yeah. Arthur's gonna pause for a moment, but then he'll put some more fuel and kind of like ruffle things around with his walking stick to kind of like bring it up a bit.
So the squirrel very politely thanks you, and you didn't notice it before, but it takes off a backpack and starts rummaging through it, and sets up a skewer with some food. You can't really tell at that size, what it is, and it starts cooking food over the fire, and it's very quietly, even quieter than its voice, gently singing to itself. And, assuming you don't do anything, it will.
Well,
Okay.
Well, while the squirrel is doing that, Arthur does want to see what it looks like in Prime because he's kind of curious what how the animals are different like in this world, and it's singing and talking. So yeah, he wants to see what it looks like in Prime.
Okay. What are you trying to notice about it? Because topically,
for right now.
Okay, go ahead. What?
For right now, he doesn't have any base to see. He just wants to see what it looks like in Prime. Like he has no idea how the creatures are in this world or anything. So he's just he figures now he wants to see what something weird, well, to him would look like through Prime.
Well, it looks like a squirrel. I'm going to say that you've been bored before, and waiting in your office, and you may have kicked up your Prime vision and looked out the window to see a squirrel, because we all do stupid stuff when we get bored sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's possible that you have seen what a squirrel looks like through Prime vision. It looks like a squirrel. It just looks like there's more of it. It's just, it's sort of like looking at a line of code. Well, it doesn't look like this, but this is my, metaphor. And you see the object, and it comes up as code as like, this is a squirrel, but it comes up as this is squirrel plus 10. It is like more squirrel than it should be, but it is still comes up as squirrel. If I'm making
like
sense.
It's highlighted.
Yeah, it's like this is squirrel,
Yeah.
like that. I guess is the best description.
Yeah. So Arthur's gonna be like, "What you making there?"
And he very politely says, "Oh, roasted. I got some chestnuts," and he's like roasting chestnuts over the campfire. And once it's all toasted, he like cracks it open and like takes out what you could see that it's using a tool, and but as it's moving, you could tell that it's got a knife, and it's cutting up the chestnut into chewable portions, and as it's eating, it notices that you're watching it, so it takes one of the chestnuts and cuts it in half and puts it aside for you. It's like, feel free to have some, and it goes back to eating.
Where's Arthur standing in what's the word? In relation to the tents where everyone's sleeping. Proximity relation, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say that you guys,
where everyone else is sleeping.
I'm gonna say that you guys kind of did a semicircle facing the front of the canyon. So if something happened, everyone could like open their tents and like do that, because that seems like something that you would do, and that the fire would be in the center of that semicircle, and you would have your back to the tents. I mean, that's what I think you guys would do. And and the squirrel is on the far side of the fire. And you basically like put rocks in a circle and put the fire in the circle, and it put the chestnut on one of the rocks, the half of a chestnut on one of the rocks for you. And that's the this.
Okay,
the
so
scene
it might like near one.
It is on the far side of the fire, so you're gonna have to like get up and go around to grab the half a chestnut if you'd like.
Oh no. Well, right now, Arthur just kind of wants to he wanted to see if he was close enough to where he could shake a tent before he moved, like just to wake somebody up because he's still kind of nervous with the fauna here, so he just wanted to see if there was like a nearby tent that he could shake a little bit, not to draw too much attention before he got up.
Okay. Here's the thing.
Got closer.
No, I'm saying you're close enough to do it, but I don't think there's a way that you could do it in such a way that the squirrel wouldn't notice and get worried, because there's this. Yeah. I mean, imagine it from its perspective. You are ending up in someone's. You're going to someone's camp. You see someone there. You ask them to stoke up the fire for you. You cook a thing. You say, here's some of my meal, yay, and then all of a sudden they kind of kick a tent behind them, and then they get up. You see where that would be a little bit, I don't see how you could do that, I mean, if you were in the normal world, I could see you texting someone and hoping the text wakes them up, but there's no signal here.
Yeah. Okay, so what Arthur's going to be like, thanks, let me just wake up my friends, because we all are supposed to be having breakfast anyway, so, yeah, we got to wake up the sleepyheads.
Well,
and then
with that, the squirrel kind of goes like, well, thank you very much, sir, and quickly packs up its stuff and leaves. Because he didn't want to insult you, but at the same time, if you were going to stay where you were at, he would be happy to continue going. But, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I could also see you, maybe, taking a picture of the squirrel. Before waking.
Well, I mean, that never even.
Okay, well then, yeah, I'm not going to tell you what to, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm saying if you wanted to retroactively say that you did that, I would let you do that. But
yeah, sure, yeah.
Because
this way he has proof that at least he won't sound crazy.
So
I swear this squirrel was eating and talking to me and cooking.
Yeah, but did you learn anything from it? That's the problem.
Well, it's one of these. Whose tent would you have kicked to wake him up?
I'm not sure. That's why I was asking. Probably Titania, because she's more social.
Okay.
She did try to talk to the monk and the troll.
So Titania wakes up. It is, I'm going to say, an equivalent time. It would be about 4:50 in the morning. So you're getting woken up a little early, and you see Arthur a little positively flabbergasted. So how, go ahead and how would you respond to that?
Oh, hey, I thought I heard voices. What's up?
And then Arthur kind of he looks at her and he tilts his head in the direction of the squirrel.
Well, I'm trying to think.
Hey, good morning.
I'm trying to think. By the time that she gets up and sticks her head out, would she still be able to see the squirrel? Because it would have been trying to leave. I mean, I guess you could see.
And squirrels are fast.
Yeah, I guess you could, in theory, see movement, but not much more than that. I mean, that would be like my best guess.
Oh, well, since he already left, Arthur's like, talking squirrel, it wanted help with the fire to cook its nuts. And then he'll point to like the chestnut that it left behind.
And you said you retroactively that you took a picture.
Yes.
Okay, so there's something you don't see every day. I'm gonna go over there and just pick up the nut.
Okay, it is a
Look
cooked.
at it.
It is half of a cooked chestnut.
You want to share it?
Is it? Arthur's gonna look at it. Is it safe? Because some chestnuts I don't think are edible for humans.
Well, no. If he's eating it, then it's okay. Generally, it's the tannins that cause upset stomach and diarrhea, but you have to eat enough of it to make an impact. It's not like it's going to cause neurotoxin or liver. It's not like a liver toxin or anything like that.
Oh, and then Arthur will be like nodding, like, yeah, I'll try half. I never tried chestnuts before. So a quarter of a chestnut.
Okay, so we go ahead and try this chestnut at the same time.
It's a tasty chestnut. It's not salted or anything, or have any flavoring other than being a roasted chestnut. It's a chestnut. See?
I'll just call out.
Not everything
I'll
here
just
is
call out
bad.
and say thank you for sharing your chestnut.
Yeah. By the time that you did that, it's far enough along that even if it did, try to talk back to you, you wouldn't hear it. So yeah. Not everything here is
okay.
evil.
I figured because the squirrel, it was flighty.
Mm. So.
I wasn't expecting a response back. I was just trying to be polite.
So. Eventually the sun rises. Now, granted, you guys are in a box canyon, so it doesn't, it takes a bit longer, but you can see it takes a bit longer for you, but you can see there enough light illuminates that you can make your way out of the box canyon and continue on. But yeah, not everything here is evil.
They woke up. Fluke woke up, right? Fluke woke up, right? Like we didn't leave him behind.
What? No. Okay.
We didn't pack out yet. We were just watching the sunrise.
Yeah, I was gonna say, nothing of note happens after that until you guys are ready to pack up and head out. So yeah. Not everything in Arcadia is predatory.
Well, I mean, regular squirrels can be pretty mean. They hunt snakes, so you never know.
My point is, Arcadia is like a land of inspiration and dreams, sorta. So, although there are scary things there and there are powerful things there's also like, talking squirrels there. So, I'm gonna say that morning happens, everybody gets up and ready, and packs out to continue your trek downward, unless somebody wants to do something.
I can't think of anything. Tatiana?
Me neither.
Okay. So you pack out, you continue down the mountain. As you get further along, the more it evens out, and you're able to start making up the time that you lost. And by the time that you start descending off of the mountain, everything starts to get cheerful and pastel colored, and you know, Alice in Wonderland vomited everywhere. So once you get off the mountain and you continue to proceed downward, I'm gonna say that you get like about an hour or two forward off of the mountain before it's time to camp. During the day, though, there really isn't. You really didn't run into anything. But on the other side of the mountain, there are. The side of the mountain that you came in on was pretty forested, whereas this side of the mountain seems to be a bit more dispersed with trees. It's not quite a high desert or high plains type situation, but you definitely are able to there are trees around, but you get not enough to provide cover for anything, and so it's although bright floras everywhere, and you see unusual fauna, as you progress forward, there's nothing that is too that is either dangerous or too weird for you. And when it gets to time to pack out, to set up for camp, there doesn't seem to be that much around you, which is a little weird considering the amount of animals and stuff that you saw on the other side of the mountain. But once you guys camp, you estimate that you will reach the pendulum tomorrow sometime. But you go to camp, and there's enough wood and stuff around that you can build a fire if you want. And if you wanted to, to do something, you could. But like if anyone wants to set up a watch or anything, but as of the moment, you aren't as weirded out as you were before.
Arthur does want to check if the Malk has gotten any closer with the same, hair and correspondence.
Okay, give me a correspondence roll then. Okay. It is no closer than it was. It is no closer than it was before. That isn't to say that it has followed you since. It's just the if there is any difference in distance, it only opened up. It seems that
all right,
the Malk's ire is slow in coming.
Oh, that's damn it, winter.
So yeah, as you guys are, as you guys camp, if you want to set up a watch, you can set up a watch. But there doesn't really seem to be a whole lot around, other than grass and bushes and dispersed trees.
So you guys want to set up a watch, or?
Yes.
I'm gonna do third this time in case the squirrel comes back.
Okay, I'll do second.
All right.
I'll do first then.
So it's the the night passes without incident. Nothing particularly of interest happens, even in the last watch or anything like that. So morning comes, you guys eat breakfast, and you get out, you pack out and head toward the pendulum, assuming anyone doesn't want to do anything more than that. Does anyone want to do anything?
I just want to get to this pendulum and see what the heck.
Yeah, let's.
Traveling can be boring. I want to do something different than traveling.
All right. So, you guys pack out, you get going, and in about 2.5, 3.5 hours pass, you get to where the pendulum is. And as you come up to its path, you can tell that the little knob at the bottom of the disc of the pendulum has created a furrow in its passing. And so it you can tell that as it comes by in its arc, that there is a gateway. There's not even a door, but there's a gateway. But it moves in such a way that if you were fast, you can cross over. But it's kind of iffy. So how do you guys want to cross into the pendulum as it comes across?
The most athletic out of all of us.
I've got, let's see, 3 dexterity and 2 athletics, so I got 5 dice. I'm assuming it'd be dexterity.
Okay, let me see real quick.
Did you hear me?
1 second.
How about Flug?
Okay.
1 moment. I have I'm mostly about endurance. I'm not very strong, and I'm also not dead. So 2 dexterity, 3 stamina. So
okay. So as you guys are looking at all this, Tony kind of sits and goes, if only we could move faster. And he, goes, we have, I think we all have some sphere in forces, yeah?
Yep.
have truant forces, yes.
Same.
Out of character, everyone's got 2 forces. So he kind of like
Really?
Yeah, I just noticed it. So he was like, kinetic force is a force, and as Tony squints at the at where the pendulum would be because it's at its outer arc. It's like, if we kind of like pool our intention, maybe we could like move faster. So Tony is suggesting that you do a group forces roll to accelerate your movement to cross over into the pendulum. And we will do
okay, and then
what?
Oh well, Arthur's like, okay, or we could just have the pendulum stop, like just disperse the momentum when it hits this point, and it's easier for us to just climb on. Because Arthur.
I don't think it's a smart idea to stop the pendulum.
Yeah.
Well, 1, we don't know what we're messing with by stopping it, and 2, if that's going to take a lot more energy than to get the 3 of us to move faster.
And there's no way that we are sneaking
Arthur was just
There's no way that we can sneak onto it if all of a sudden the pendulum stops and, somebody's going to notice.
Yeah. Okay, that's
many souls that will notice.
Arthur, not fair.
So if everyone could give me a forces roll. All right, so
only forces?
Yeah, only. Well, it would be for your forces and arete, norm, and all that. But I've got a number in my head, and I want us to make a group pass. So Tatiana.
What's the difficulty?
At my prime or not?
He's not going to tell us the difficulty because.
Yeah. I've got a number in my head, and I want you guys to pass it because this is kind of a sketchy thing. So I want to like amp up the anxiety by not telling you what you need to pass. All right, so
okay. Good. No. No paradoxical.
I don't expect to walk out of the.
Well, Albreo, did you include your arete?
No, I did not. I knew I was forgetting something.
Okay.
God damn it. To use roll 20. So 8, 2, 6, 5, 10.
Okay.
Those are all my rolls.
Okay. And Tatiana's is and Tony's is okay. So as the pendulum comes by and everyone's vibrating with kinetic energy as much as they hope will be effective, it comes down and everyone runs forward and everybody makes it, but you are expecting to hit the sideward momentum as it You land inside it, and you're expecting to go to the right as it, in its path. But as soon as you land there, there is no momentum there's no inertia that you have to deal with. You turn around, and it feels like You turn around, and it feels like you're standing on solid earth, and you look at the door, and it's waggling back and forth. It's a little, disorienting to see reality swing back and forth, but to you, on this side of the door, it feels like you are on solid ground. Now, as you turn around to look at the surroundings around you, it feels you are dealing with, it's not deafening, but it is a pervasive, clicking and clacking of gears as you see all along the walls and coming up through the floor, gears moving back and gears ticking forward for some unknown purpose. And as you go to follow the correspondence trail, you see as you go along the correspondence trail, you can see that it goes around the corner and then up a winding staircase. And by winding staircase, not only is it a spiral staircase, but it is a moving spiral staircase, where it is rotating as though the staircase is also performing an additional function other than progression upward. I assume you guys want to go up the stairs?
Arthur wanted to see if he could figure out what do you mean by like that it's doing a function. Can they tell what that function is, or like it's just
okay. It is a spiral.
Art.
Imagine it's a spiral staircase, but it is doing a ticking forward motion in a revolving, like it's a part of the mechanism of everything, in addition to being a spiral staircase. Am I making sense?
Oh, okay. So like it's part of the clock. It's part of the pendulum. Well, we don't know that, but I get it.
Yeah, it's part of the clockwork.
Yeah.
And for the PC gamers here, as you are going up the staircase, it is very reminiscent of the twisting elevator in Half-Life in the beginning of the game, where you kind of like feel dizzy as you're progressing forward, even though there's nothing that would make you dizzy. It's a very disorienting climb up this staircase. And as you progress, it is trying to think of the best way to put this. As you progress, it feels very strange. Because it's not like an escalator where you see going upward, continuing to go upward. It's sort of like walking forward as you are going up the stairs, but your surroundings don't really change unless you stop moving, and then it's a disorienting climb. And when you get up to the top, which is about, I'm going to say that it is like about 8 flights. Once you get to the top, The staircase the staircase opens up to another floor, which also is a bunch of gears moving back and forth. However, there is a grand window on one side of the room. It is a arched window. And if you guys want to go take a look at it, I can describe it for you.
Sure.
You go to the window and you see well below where your feet are, you can see the mountain that you crossed down below you, but it is way so far down that it is about the size of your fist outstretched, which is weird because from the outside you would have seen a structure that would you would even at that size you would have seen a structure at that height, and you did not. So there's that. As far as the rest of the landscape, it is once again very bright, vivid, and pastel colors throughout the landscape. And you can note that to the west there is what looks like a city of some kind, but it is far enough away that even on your way out you're not going to really run into it. If you go back to check your magical trail, you will notice that it goes through an adjacent room, and as you progress through room to room to room, the rooms get smaller and smaller and smaller, and the gear work becomes more and more, starts becoming oppressively closer to the pathway. So much so that at one point you guys kind of gotta walk in sideways, and you gotta take your backpacks off and walk between the sides of the gears. And and as you get through that, the rooms dramatically change to a old Victorian mansion layout. Like imagine the way I'm envisioning it is, I'm going to say sort of like the old mansion in Resident Evil. It's like this grand, opulent, checkered, black and white checkered floor, tiles, and old oak banisters going up to the sides. And it is clear, although this is not the you are not coming in through the front door, so to speak. It is from, you are still entering in through the opening, darn it, I can't think of the word, the entranceway room. And there are two arching stairways that go up to the second floor, and there are hallways that continue to go deeper into this building. And although there are various candelabras and the like, You do not see any windows. And with this, I'm gonna say that we might want to stop here because we're reaching the 2-hour mark. But you still have a very clear, strong. Trail to follow. But now you are in some Victorian mansion type of place. So, is there anything anyone wants to do before we stop for today?
Not really. It's actually good timing because I gotta go make something.
All right.
Yeah, I can't think of anything, but.
Okay. Well, we'll stop off right now and pick up next time. All right. Bye, everybody.